Plum Jam by Enid Blyton. I wish I had some plums to make plum jam, said Lightfoot the pixie to Prickles. Prickles the hedgehog was her neighbour. He lived under the hedge where Lightfoot had her tiny house. Buy some, said Prickles. I haven't any money, said Lightfoot. She never had. She left her purse about everywhere, and the little red imps were always running off with it. Well, go and ask Mr. Frowny for some, said Prickles. Go on, take your basket with you. He's got a lot of plum trees, and there are quite a lot of plums on the ground. He doesn't even bother to pick them up. Oh, I daren't ask him, said Lightfoot. He's always so cross, and he's got such dreadful eyebrows to frown with. I wouldn't ask him for anything. You go, Prickles. Can't you go for me? If you will, I'll give you a pot of my plum jam all for yourself. You can spread it on the toadstools you like to eat so much and make a meal of toadstool and jam. Lovely. It does sound nice, said Prickles. Well, I'm not afraid of Mr. Frowny. He can waggle his big eyebrows at me all he likes, and I shan't mind a bit. All right then, you go along, said Lightfoot. And Prickles ran off, his little bright eyes looking round and about for slugs as he went. He liked a meal of slugs. He thought they were even nicer than beetles. He came to Mr. Frowny's house. Mr. Frowny was in his garden, weeding. Prickles ran up to him. Please, Mr. Frowny, may I have some of your plums? What? Do you think you can climb trees and pick plums? Said Mr. Frowny. Oh, no, but I could take some of those that are on the ground, said Prickles. And how many could you take in that little mouth of yours? Said Mr. Frowny. You need your legs to run with, so you can't carry any with those. Ho, ho! You could only take half a plum, Prickles. Well, may I go and take some, Mr. Frowny? Asked Prickles. Please say yes. I'll do you a good turn, if you like, in payment. And pray, what good turn can you do me? Asked Mr. Frowny, waggling his enormous eyebrows to scare Prickles. But Prickles wasn't a bit scared. Please, sir, I will come and gobble up all your slugs, he said. They feast on your lettuces, don't they? Well, I'll save your lettuces if I eat up all your slugs. Very well, said Mr. Frowny. You can go and take as many plums as you can carry, but you'll only be able to carry half a plum in that silly mouth of yours. Ho, ho, ho. Prickles ran off. He went into the orchard and he looked for a plum tree. Ah, there was one. A nice early tree, thick with little round red plums. Lovely. Prickles ran to the tree. There was such a lot on the ground. Did he pick them up in his small mouth or try to carry some off in his front paws? No, he had a much better idea than that. What do you think he did? He curled himself tightly into a ball of prickles, and then he rolled himself round and round and round under the plum tree among all the fallen plums. What happened? Why, a great many plums stuck to his prickles. When he uncurled himself at last, there were the plums sticking all over him. He ran out of the gate and Mr. Frowny saw him. He stared in surprise. Hey, what's the matter with you? You do look odd. My goodness me, you're stuck all over with plums. So that's how you're going to take them away. Come back. But Prickles didn't come back. He scuttled down the lane into the field and ran down the hedge till he came to where Lightfoot was sewing outside her little house. She jumped up with a squeal. Oh, whatever's this? Gracious, it's you, Prickles. But what have you done to yourself? Brought you some plums to make plum jam, of course, said Prickles proudly. Aren't I clever? Now you just take them all off my prickles one by one, Lightfoot, and wash them. Then get out your sugar ready to make jam. You will be able to make a nice lot. You clever little thing, cried Lightfoot. I'd kiss you if there was anywhere to kiss. There's my nose, said Prickles, but I don't much like being kissed. I'd rather have a pot of jam. You shall have one, said Lightfoot, pleased. I'll make you some straight away, and we'll have it for tea. You must come to tea with me today. She set to work to make the jam. Soon it was bubbling on the little stove, smelling very good indeed. Prickles sniffed hard. It would be very nice to spread on toadstools. He went to tea with Lightfoot that afternoon. Outside her tiny house grew a little ring of toadstools. Prickles spread some plum jam on the top of one and then nibbled it all round the edge till it was gone. "Delicious," he said. "Best I ever tasted. Thank you very much, Lightfoot." "Now you take this pot away with you, and you can spread plum jam on your toadstools every day," said Lightfoot. "You deserve it for your cleverness." Prickles kept his word to Mr. Frownie. He ate all his slugs for him. And now Mr. Frownie has the finest lettuces in the town. So you see, everybody was pleased.